Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you know, Microsoft has recently, sometime back, introduced one another type of logic app, which is the standard logic app. So in this video, we'll see what is the consumption-based logic app and what is the standard logic app, and what is the basic differences between them. Okay, so this is my Azure portal, and I am going to create one logic app. So if you see here option creating, I'm just clicking on add option. And so what we need to do is we need to provide the subscription and resource group. As of now, there is no resource group in my portal, so I'm just creating one. And now we'll give this logic app name also. These are the publishing option with workflow or Docker container. We will discuss this later. Right now we'll select the workflow region. You can select any region. Now if you come to the plan, so here you see there are two options. One is standard and one is consumption. Standard logic apps, the type of standard means best for enterprise level serverless applications and event based scaling and networking isolation. We'll go deep into all of these aspects, like what are those, what is the network isolation, how the event based scaling can be happen and serverless application happen. But standard logic app, one we can think is it is based for enterprise level when we have a large enterprise application and integration with different systems. Consumption, if I select the consumption, it is best for entry level. If you just want to explore how the logic app works, how the connectors work, and how you can create the workflows, how you can deploy them, just for your testing purpose, if you want to use, this is good for those entry level. But for large scales of applications, definitely the standard logic app is a way to go. So now if I select the consumption logic app, you notice here the logic app name. We can give any logic app name here. Let's say demo LA, and there is no problem with this. Okay. At the same time, if I select standard logic app, you see it started checking, and there is a suffix added here, which is Azure websites.net after your logic app name. So what it means, if I make it as a demo LA, it is saying this is not available. Okay, and if I select the consumption based logic app, this is available. Why? Because consumption based logic app is within your active directory. Okay, whereas the standard logic app, it can be accessed via public facing public IP also, right? So it added this .azurewebsites.net. So you think about this, like there can be n number of such applications which has the suffixes azurewebsites.net. So that's why this name is not valid for this one, and it's not available actually. So we can give any name of here which suits to your organization based on your naming convention. And now if you see, when I select the standard logic app, I am seeing these two other options, whereas for consumption logic apps, those two options are not there. So what are those options? If I select the standard logic app, I need to select one pricing plan, one app service plan basically. Okay, so all the standard logic apps comes with app service plan. So if you are aware about the Azure functions, so how Azure function works, we need to select one app service plan to work with Azure functions. So now Microsoft started same thinking here in the logic apps also. Okay, and when we say we are creating the standard logic app, so basically we will not actually create the logic app. What we'll create is one parent workflow, and that workflow can have the multiple workflows, which we call it as a multiple logic apps inside that parent workflow in the standard logic apps. So for standard logic apps, we need to select one app service plan, which is mandatory. Okay, and for consumption based logic app, it is not required. Okay, so this is the one basic difference between these two. So let's select this standard logic app. We'll see how it appears in actual. So this is the Windows plan. It created one auto generated name, and these are the pricing plan. So right now we are just selecting the basic one, and this is the redundancy option. So I'm just keep it disabled. Storage type also we need to select, because standard logic app has stateless and stateful workflows. Also, to track the run history, to store the run history and other necessary telemetries, it is needed to have the storage account associated with it. So you can have SQL or Azure. So I'm just selecting the Azure, and this is the storage account, so it will create one new storage account for me. If we go to the networking, so now there are two options. We can disable the public access or we can keep it enabled and enable the network injection. So if I click here, enable the network injection, then it will ask me to provide the virtual network. Okay, because the standard logic app has the, if we go into detail on this one also in the virtual network part, when we come to the AAC part of this, so we can have this network injection also at the same in this place. So right now I'm just disabling it and I'm just enabling the public access. In monitoring, right now I'm just disabling the application insight also. We'll cover this later. And this text, so we'll just review and create. I'm just creating. It will take some time to create. Submitting the deployment. So we can see the deployment is in progress. What other things are getting deployed, we can see here. So the app service plan is deployed. Storage account is getting deployed. Storage account is also deployed. Okay, so our deployment is successful. Now I'm going to resources. So this is they have given it as a name as a logic app standard, but this is actually the parent workflow. So if you see here, you will see this app service plan is associated with this one. Okay, and then there is this public facing URL also we see here. So what this public facing URL is, your Azure function app is running. Okay, they're calling it as a backend, they're calling it as Azure function. So this behavior is similar to what we see in the Azure functions. Okay, I'm just refreshing it, and this is the app service plan. So now if you click on this app service plan, okay, so this is mandatory for standard logic app, because the pricing, okay, I'll come to the pricing. Before that, let's see what are the apps inside here. So you can associate multiple workflows with this app service plan over here. Okay, so for standard logic app, if we come about pricing, so it all depends on what app service plan you have selected. In consumption based logic app, we pay as per the execution of the actions, how many actions are getting executed in one particular logic app. But in standard logic app, we'll pay what is the plan we have selected for the while creating the app service plan. And on top of that, there is a AAC, which is app service environment, that will further isolate your standard logic apps. We'll come to those also in upcoming videos. Now if I select this standard logic app and if I go to workflows, I'll see there is no workflow presently. Okay, so we can go ahead and we can create workflow inside this. Workflows means the individual logic apps which will be associated with this parent logic app. Okay, now We'll create this workflow also in next videos in detail, but this is how you can create. You can give some workflow name, and here you can give stateful and stateless. So we'll see what are these options also in upcoming videos. But this is how it looks when you create the standard logic app, and you see there are some options which is scale up and scale out also we can do over here. We can create custom domains here, we can provide the identity also here. Okay, and there are this advanced tool. It is similar to, the, if I click here, go, it is similar to what we have seen in the Azure functions. If you are aware about how Azure function store its basically all the configuration details, right? www root folder and all of those are. So basically this standard logic app, they have created like one website. Okay, inside that we will have the multiple workflows, but in consumption logic app, one logic app, one workflow. And standard logic app, we have one parent logic app, and then we can have multiple workflows over here. So next video we'll just create a basic logic app, and then we'll go for few further options for the standard logic apps. So I hope you have liked it. Please provide your comments and your feedback in comment section, and subscribe this channel. Thank you.